Welcome to the Ask a Swim Pro show. My name is Faris Sabeti, co-founder and CEO of My Swim Pro, and I am here in St. Louis at the U.S. Aquatic Sports Convention with Jerry Villarreal.
Yes.
How are
Hi.
you?
Good.
Awesome. Tell us about yourself and how you got into triathlon.
Okay. I am a hijabi triathlete, and I started with running primarily. And a friend of my mother's met me one day and said, "Hey, I know that you like to run, and I know you know how to swim. Do you want to put that all together and bike and do triathlons?" And I was just like, "Sure, like why not?" You know, because I was tired of saying no to things and wanted to take on some new challenges.
Right on. And then from there, you've competed in a number of triathlons. Walk us through the journey.
The first one was a sprint triathlon, the St. Louis Tri, and it was just amazing. And it was kind of funny. I didn't think that I could do something like that, but once I did it, that was it. Like I wanted to do every triathlon that I saw. So that year, I think I did 8.
Whoa!
And
You did 8 in your first year?
Yeah.
Wow.
I just like everyone that came up, I just like signed up like right away.
Oh, wow.
And then the next year, I'm like, you know what? I'm gonna do one of those half Ironmans that I hear so much about.
Yeah.
So like that distance, I love that distance. So that was fun.
So for the fans watching that don't know how long a half Ironman, how long is it?
It's 1.2 miles swim and 56-mile bike, and then a half marathon, 13.1 miles.
Yeah, so 70 miles of fun.
Yeah, yeah.
And then what was it like doing your first triathlon? Like what, nerves? I mean...
Yeah, I just really didn't know what to expect, really, and it was really funny because the triathlon community is this amazing. So you kind of look clueless and lost, and someone's like, "Hey, you know, you do this, and you should be over here," and then, "Hey, it's time to come out of a transition."
Yeah.
Just kind of help you with like everything and cheer you along. It's really nice.
Yeah. So you mentioned the community. Tell us more. What does that mean, the triathlon community?
So like here we have a few clubs, like triathlon clubs, but even if you're not a member, just people are really helpful. Like they see you and they want to help you like succeed. Because it's not like we're all competing against each other, we are, but then most of us all have like this like personal competition going on. Like we want to just be like the best version of ourselves kind of thing. So it doesn't really matter. Like they're just going to help you out. Like I got a pump, so your tires look low. Let me help you out here, and it's just really nice. I like that.
Now, in the sport of triathlon, swim, bike, run, normally it's a sport known for people like showing a lot of skin. How do you balance modesty in triathlon?
Well, yes, there's a lot of skin in triathlon. Basically, I just kind of do me. I found a lot of brands that really helped me with coverage, and I try to stay modest while I'm there during like the competition. But basically, I really don't have any issues with any type of coverage issues. But one thing that I do is talk to the race director and just kind of let them know that I'm there and that I will be covered, and from like my elbow to my wrist and from my knee to my ankle. So that's gonna be covered, and just it's usually just a conversation. I've never had an issue where they're like, "Well, no, you can't do that." But I'm just like,
no problem.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yep.
And what does the hijab mean to you?
To me, it's for me, wearing hijab is very empowering. So it's just kind of like an equalizer to me. And I know probably most people don't think of it like that, but it's just like, I don't know, now you just have to just kind of take like what I do, what I say, or like face value. Like that's it. Like you just get to judge me on that and nothing else. So it just feels like really powerful to me. Like I just feel like I can, I don't know, it's almost like a cape, you know, like a kind of like a
Superwoman.
superhero.
Yeah, you're a superhero.
Yeah, like you just kind of do. I just do like what I need to do, and I just come in and just do me basically.
You make it happen. Yeah. And what are some questions that people always ask you? You can like clear up for the camera.
Yeah, if I'm hot, I'm hot.
If you're like warm,
yes.
In the humidity.
Yeah, like usually I'm hot, but people just want to know. I mean, that is like literally the number one question.
So are you hot wearing
Yeah,
that?
am
Okay.
I hot?
Uh-huh.
And it'll be like 100 degrees, and I'm like, yeah, so are you. So
Yeah.
like we're both hot together. So that, and then like, kids will ask me like, why do you wear that? And I like that. I like that question so much better because it's like a really honest question. It's the question that adults want to ask, but they just don't know how to ask it. So
Right.
they're just like, are you hot?
Yeah.
So yeah, I like that one the best.
Yeah.
Those are like the best questions. Like, why do you wear that? And
Yeah.
you know,
What's your response normally when a child or adult asks you?
well, if a child asks me, I usually just talk about things that are important to them. Like, if you have something, do you have something that's really important to you, and that you just, like something very special, and you just want to share it with your friend, and then that's it. You don't like go out and like, hey, I have this really special thing, because something might happen to it or something. So, like, if you have something and maybe you just show it to a couple people, and that's it. And they're like, okay, yeah, I got something like that. I'm like, yeah, you just don't go out showing it to everybody.
Yeah.
They're like, yeah, okay. So they can understand like that on a basic level. It just depends. But yeah, I mean, like my kids' friends and stuff, they'll ask me a lot if
Yeah.
they come over to the house,
Yeah.
or they'll ask my kids, and they're like, just ask my mom, she'll tell you.
Yeah. Cool. What advice do you have for swimmers, hijabi women that are trying to get into swimming, or maybe they swim? Just what advice do you have?
To go out and swim.
Get out and swim.
Swim. Yeah, I mean, if you go out covered and you get in the pool, people are probably going to look at you. It's just like what happens. But just give them something to look at. Like, really swim. Like, swim your heart out. And then, they'll either, I mean, a lot of times I'll see people kind of looking at me strange when I get in the pool. And then, they'll wait around till I get out, and they're like, you swim awesome. Like, I wish I swam like you. And I'm like, oh, well, you can't. Just get in. Just keep swimming.
Yeah.
And just, like, keep doing it.
Do you think swimming and triathlon are sort of the same in that regard? Like,
As
encourage, participation and.
I think I mean, I think everyone should like try it, like do it at least once.
Yeah.
But then like when you do, you'll get hooked like me, and then you'll do it all the time.
Yeah. So what are you training for anything specific right now?
I am training for my first full Ironman.
Woo! And
Yeah.
when and where is it?
It is in Tempe, Arizona in November.
Okay, so
I cannot wait.
are you at like peak training volume now?
Yeah.
Yeah. So this is tough. So what does peak training mean?
That my coach makes me cry a lot. No.
That's not prescribed in the training plan.
Right. Well, and like right now, I'm kind of on a taper for a upcoming race for this weekend. So I'm gonna race this weekend.
Okay.
But then after that, I know it's gonna be like right now, I'm kind of maintaining like a 9-mile run. Maybe 2 or 3 hours on the bike.
Yep.
Or it's like it's 2 right now just because of the race, but it'll be longer than that.
Yeah.
And then trying to swim at least like 2 miles if I can, like a mile and a half or so in the swim. But it gets hard, and now they're so like the outdoor pools are closed.
Yeah.
So all that fun stuff. I love
How
swimming
many hours
outside.
per week are you training?
About maybe 10 hours right now, I think.
10
About
hours per
10,
week.
Yeah.
Cool. So let's talk about time management. So you have 10 hours per week. You're working full time, and I just learned you're a full-time MBA student.
Yes.
You've got kids, you've got family. So how do you balance all of these things?
With a planner that I keep with me most of the time. I mean,
Yeah.
So I kind of do like the time blocks. I go through and put in all the time that I have to be somewhere. Like I have to like work. I have to be there, and and any commitments that I have to do. Then I just kind of go from there. I have to sleep. It's a requirement.
Sleep
so
segment. Yep.
yeah. And then there's usually like a lot of hours that I do. I mean, I don't really watch television, so that
No
could
time for
sound
that.
like I don't have time.
No time for that.
So I just cut that out, and then time for homework.
Yeah.
Help with the kids with the homework. Help do my homework usually on the weekends. But then, everything else is just like training, eating. I eat a lot, and then
10 hours a week of training. That's
right,
something.
it makes me hungry.
Dang.
So I have to, but I put everything in the schedule: drive time, eating, and sometimes I'll write in times like that I'm going to reach out to my friends because the first year I didn't talk to them at all, and it just I just fell off the map. And that didn't go over so well with some of them, so I had to want to make sure that I maintain relationships. So I even write that in, like, I'm going to call this person on this time, because I got to make sure that I do all that.
Yeah, so every minute has to be accounted for. I have a question about fasting in Ramadan and training for triathlon. How do you balance all that?
I try to maintain like the same training schedule pretty much. I usually, this year I didn't race, but the year before I did. So I had a sprint triathlon during Ramadan. It was like the first week of Ramadan. So, and usually that's like my toughest week, but I did a triathlon. It was fine. I mean, I didn't die, and I was actually like really good like the rest of the day. I expected to have like a headache or something, but I didn't have anything. But mainly I either train like before suhoor, or I'll do it like at iftar time.
So before suhoor, so the people know how early is that?
I'll usually schedule about 3 a.m.
3 a.m. workout, right? So you work out 3 a.m., eat, suhoor time, and then no food or drink the whole day.
Yeah.
And then do you wait after eating to work out again, or do you just work out once?
So most times twice, but I'll do it like about an hour before it's time to break the fast, so that like by the time that I really want, so when I like really want something, then I'm like, okay, great, it's time. I can drink something.
Wow, that's awesome. And for the record, we do have an article on how to swim and fast for Ramadan. Check it out in the descriptions. Follow-up question about the schedule and balancing all of that stuff. What advice do you have for people who are trying to get into swimming or triathlon, and they're trying to figure out how to manage their time to be able to fit it all in?
Yeah, I always tell people just like start with what you have to do, and then you find like all these gaps in times. It's kind of amazing. Like we'll spend time just like doing nothing. And but when you like really write it in, you're like, oh, like if you have some place to be, then you can really, like make sure to make it a priority. So I always say like training or working out is a priority because it's like your time. It's like you're giving back to yourself. So you have to schedule it, like make an appointment with yourself to go do something.
Yeah. So I saw on Instagram and other social media, like a lot of people look up to you and like you're an inspiration. So what advice do you have for people who want to take the first step, but they're maybe intimidated?
Oh, yeah, just do it. Just go and do it. There's nothing bad that's going to happen. So you just got to go and just try. I mean, it's really amazing, like once you try to do something, and it just the feeling afterwards, the rewarding feeling of just going and just trying and do your best. It's nice.
And who are your mentors? Who do you look up to? People look up to you. Who do you look up to?
Well, I look up to like trailblazing women, like my mom. My mom was she is an engineer, and engineering is a field that was pretty male dominated. When she was in school, she was the only female in school for engineering, and then she started her own engineering firm. And I just think she's pretty awesome to do stuff that most people at that time hadn't done. So people that try to do something new, I think they're awesome to just be like the first ones to try something is pretty cool.
And I guess what are some of your most proud accomplishments, proudest moments that you've had in life in the triathlon world either?
The proudest moment was watching my kids compete in the triathlon. That was like the best. First, I didn't even think they were paying attention to me when I was going. I'm like,
she's out doing something.
Right, yeah. I was like, yeah, she'll be back soon, but they just wanted to try it because I did it, and they're like, you look like you have so much fun when you compete, and you come back. They're like, you come back so tired, but you always go back and do it again. So it must be something good. So as soon as they learned how to ride a bike, they literally, the day that my daughter was balancing on the bike, she rode past me, like going really fast. And then I just hear her say, sign me up for the next triathlon. And I'm like, what, really? And she's like, yeah. And I'm like, well, next month.
That's
And she's
awesome.
like,
Yeah.
let's do it.
Yeah.
So I mean, they did well, and they're hooked too. I mean, they were like ready for the next one, but it was like at the end of the season, so they ended up getting 2 in for that year. But they were very excited about it.
That's awesome. What is it when you have a family that's doing triathlon? Like how cool is that? I mean,
yeah, it's really nice. The 2 youngest ones love it, and my oldest daughter is not. She says she doesn't really want to do triathlon, but she likes running. So
how old are they?
I have a 15-year-old and a 9-year-old, soon to be 10, and an 11-year-old.
Oh, awesome. And the whole family's doing triathlon.
Yep.
That's great. Is there anything else that you'd like to share with people that maybe they don't know about you, or words of wisdom or anything?
I don't know. I share so much on social media.
I saw on Instagram on your story you did like a Q&A or something.
Yeah.
Like people are asking you questions. Maybe like what one of those was. Or...
Something someone asked me. Well, not on this session, but on
A different
many
one?
others.
Sure.
Yeah,
Yeah.
people they either assume that I'm not from the United States, or that I've been Muslim all my life, and I haven't. I converted when I was 17, and my family's Christian, and I was raised Christian with them. And just when I turned 17, I had just been reading. I love reading and learning new things, and I just found Islam, and I went to my mom and I'm like, "Hey, Mom, I want to become Muslim," and she's like, "Okay." She's like, "Well, you study a lot, so I think if you made that decision, then I support you." And my entire family was there when I took my shahada. Like my mom, my grandmother, my grandfather, my sister, aunt, everyone came in, and it was something very different, because a lot of people came to me afterwards and they were like, "Gosh, there's people that their whole family won't even talk to them, and you have your whole
very
family here."
supportive.
Yeah, it was really great.
That's really awesome. Cool. And with that note, we're going to close this episode of the Ask a Swim Pro show in St. Louis with Jerry. Make sure you follow her on social media, and we'll put all of the links to her bios in the description. So make sure you check them out, and we'll catch you guys later. Bye.